coming to you live from the backseat of a 1984 Holden Kingswood. It's time for Destiny Down Under.
Welcome to the 196th episode of the Destiny Down Under podcast. As every week, I'm Log Power Slave, and I sound like a literal fucking Melbourne Day Cup race calling son of a bitch. Get on it. As always, Molan fucking Games is here, cheating on the podcast yesterday on the DCP. What a piece of shit. Just morally judging.
Hey, look, I'm all podcast out. I'm not talking any law. I'm not. I've expended my podcast energy.
You've blown your podcast load. Just find a way to take that whole sentiment down to the gutter. And more importantly, we're joined by AlphaWolfPaw, legend of the Australian Destiny community. You've been on before. We don't need to get too bogged down in the introductions and bullshit, but you stream and you're a good egg, and that's all that really matters.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
But we've got a shitload to talk about in terms of like the ViDoc and everything. It is ViDoc. Yes. Bungie confirmed that. So if you're out there pronouncing it ViDoc, go find a mirror, look in it, and call yourself an idiot. That's my advice.
Did they explain why it's ViDoc? Like, did they explain it?
No.
Because I've always said ViDoc, but I've always wondered why.
I mean, we're all Aussies anyway, though, so we're always going to pronounce things basically fucking wrong. So it was a pleasant surprise to find out with this one fucking tiny example that we're not. So suck it. Anyway, it's been a big week with regards to that, and the new trailer that dropped, and the TWAB this week was full of juicy shit about how the light grind is going to work and a few changes to Eververse and whatnot that we'll probably just gloss over because that's the kind of podcast that we are. But we'll do the obligatory how's your week been, so that the people who are just tuning into this podcast for the first time have to suffer through that before they get to anything that they're actually interested in. So Matt, how have you been this week?
It's couple weeks out, less than a couple weeks out from release.
Yes.
And it's mate. Yesterday I had to say to myself, Matt, why are you angry that you've got a lot of work on? Do you know? it's like I think I've got like 5 sponsors lined up for
look at this guy
for November. And they're all like within 2 days of release they're like, oh yeah, can you just give us a summary of everything that's fucking happened in Destiny plus Beyond Light plus the Darkness? Cheers, thanks. I'm like, well, yeah, I sort of need the money, so yeah, I can. But
oh yeah, it is my job. But look, you know what? I think this is a watershed moment because, to be honest, like there's kids everywhere, right? Young people. Maybe you're not even a kid. Maybe you're an adult, and you're sitting there going, "Fuck, I want to be a YouTuber. That sounds like great. I get to play video games all day and all this sort of shit." Like, I would like for Matt to run like a short run 45-minute seminar on how fucked being a YouTuber actually is in every respect. Because you know who I haven't seen play Destiny for fucking years? Mylan Games. Do you know who gets anxiety when a fucking new release is coming out? Mylan Games.
Mate, just look at fucking Dado. He rushed his wedding before the month. Yep. Because, hey, guess what? Do you know when you make your yearly salary? It's basically in one month time frame.
November, December.
And that gets you through January, February, March, up until, whenever they make the next big announcement.
And then you spend the back end of the last season just in self-loathing mode, and then you have to get yourself up, dust yourself off, and do it all over again. It's brutal. No way, no fucking way.
I mean, it's good. I mean, the thing is, I'm super stressed about finishing the PhD. I have like 2 months left, and I just imagine that Beyond Light's gonna fucking strip me of at least 2 weeks. So out that.
Only 2 months left, though. After that, you'll be, you know, completed and finished that chapter.
True.
Then you'll be, so, if it all goes well, you'll be Dr. Mylan Games.
Oh mate, look, I honestly don't have high hopes. I might be one of the first people to ever fail a fucking PhD, mate.
I think that's me.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Yeah.
An interesting aside to this. I won't make the same promise to you, but the lead guitarist in my band went and studied psychology, and went and like ultimately got his doctorate in psychology. And I told him when I was about 21, when you get your doctorate, I'll treat you as an equal, because I'm the ego frontman in the band, and he's the, you know, like, you should shut the fuck up. So he went and got his doctorate, and I still bully him to this day.
Yeah, I can't imagine things are going to change. Anyway, it's been busy. I was on DCP, the Destiny Community Podcast yesterday. That was fucking great.
They're good people, man.
I saw Log in a fucking long sleeve shirt and glasses on Tuesday, and I actually couldn't recognize him.
That was top 10 anime fucking betrayals. Shit, that. Well, actually, no, I've done this fucking subconsciously, but you bullying me about my curly hair. I think we'll get an impartial judge on Alpha. Is curly hair pretty cool or not?
I consider myself one of the most unbiased judges from this type of idea, right? I think that curly hair is actually some of the best type of hairstyles that you could actually have.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't think.
Mate, you're just saying that because you can ride a bike without a fucking helmet and bounce off the top of your head, cunt.
Okay, common misconception.
There you go. For those of you that were in the Twitch chat, placing bets on whether or not there'll be a C-bomb dropped in this episode, we made it a whole 7 minutes.
He said the word. Common misconception about my hair: it does not protect me from bumps and, you know,
head trauma.
Head trauma, that's the one. But what it does do is provide a very comfortable pillow when I'm on like a train or a, you know, car
pretty
window,
rad.
that sort of thing.
It's not taking a pillow with you. It doesn't protect you from being mistaken for Sideshow Bob either, but we'll just...
No, that's common thing at all. Besides that, with Flash or whoever else, footballer has this type of hair. I don't know. There's so many of them.
That's fine. That's good. Yeah, I mean, that was, I don't know what inspired you to do that, Matt. That was very, like, we do you know, shameless plug. We did the Patreon cast through the week, and it's always fun. We did the history of Mylan Games fighting cunts. That was basically
around the world.
Mylan Games fighting around the world with his tugboat tugger. And no, it was good. And like, I make a point of like, I record the video on that. We're in a video call because it helps with being able to talk to each other. But I'm just like, I got home from work. I couldn't be fucked. So hair's like,
is that what you look like at work?
God no. I'd had a shower and shit and just didn't put any fucking shit in my hair. So I was like, it's just...
yeah, you shattered my whole fucking world. It's like when your dad shaves his beard off. You're like, who's this? Why do I have two mums?
I've lived
do you know what I mean?
that.
Like, I didn't know who you were.
I felt bad because my go-to self-sledge was I'm sitting here wearing like glasses, have an afro, and wearing a long sleeve shirt, drinking a cup of chamomile tea, and I'm like, oh, look like a fucking graphic designer pissant in a call with Keg, who is legitimately a graphic designer.
Sick burn.
But his Keg is nothing like that, so there's that. But yeah, look, I don't know. I'm just, what can you do but run with it? What do you mean?
What happens to your hair when it grows like super long? Is it long down?
I mean, last time I grew it super long. Well, last time I grew it super long, it was dreadlocks. So I don't know.
My hair naturally does that, but I was thinking you'd have really cool ringlets, I reckon. Like,
I don't know. We're gonna find out. That's the goal. I'm trying to come up with fucking coping strategies for having awkward length hair.
I want it down past your tits. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's probably years away. Years and years away.
I'll be waiting.
Baby face. Has anyone ever said to you?
What?
You have a baby face. I reckon if you got your hair...
I've got the opposite of a baby face.
Man,
honestly, I look like I'll show you pictures of me in fucking high school and I'll look 45 and I'm only fucking in my mid-30s now.
I reckon
no. You've got one of those non-age faces. So when you're a child, it looks like someone's fucking ripped out an adult and a kid's body. But when you catch up to adulthood, you don't age more. Do you know?
I've grown into my head.
You've grown into your head.
It's not
mate.
a particularly good one. It's been a burden at some times in my life, but I've grown into it finally. There you go.
If all three of us shaved full clean shaven, I reckon we all look like we're in high school. That's just the way it is.
Yeah,
Matt, I've seen
pretty
Matty
young without it.
I've seen Matty with no beard. We were tempted to just keep him off the podcast for a few weeks. It was fucking hard to look at.
Can't have him dropping the C-bomb while he looks like he's 14.
Yeah, well, they've got this fucking 14-year-old kid on there calling people cunts. It's wild. Alpha, how have you been? Like, obviously, we've seen you more recently than fucking you've been on the podcast. But how you been, dude? What's been going on? What's good?
Good. Not too bad. I've been trying to play Destiny. I don't have the excuses that Mylan has, but I mean, I've been trying to play as many different games as well as, Destiny 2, trying to grind up to that soft cap so that I can be sort of prepped for Beyond Light. But other than that, I got department manager at my work, so I've been working on that, like in my
Poggers.
Yeah,
kicking IRL goals.
Yeah, so that's being really cool, but like obviously more responsibilities and
have you had any hard conversations with anyone yet?
Small ones.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the really bad ones soon. Like I'm waiting for the ones where I have to like fire someone or something.
What's like anything funny we can laugh at?
Fuck.
Just look after. Are you new to the role? Don't.
I am new to the role, and so I'm trying not to tread on anyone's toes right now. And the hard thing is like when I'm doing schedules for people, and then I'll say, "Oh yeah, this is my schedule. Let me know how you feel about it," because I want to make sure that people are happy, but I also obviously have to still be a manager and tell them what like that's the way it is.
Yeah.
But it's a balance between trying to keep people happy and still doing my job, I guess. So that's the hardest part about it.
What you realize?
I'm just going to throw this out there. I feel like this will be a huge personal development moment for you, because there's an innate part of human nature that like you don't want people to think you're a cunt. Fuck, we're really going to town with that word. But there is a point at which you stop giving a fuck about that just because of the inconvenience that it trying to maintain the thing that you can't be a little bit of a cunt sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I've watched other friends that have become managers, and I've seen that arc. I've seen it go from them being super cool, and then at a certain point, they just get fed up and they're like, fuck it, I don't give a shit anymore. And I feel like I want to balance that. I want to try and bring that back a little bit. I know that eventually I'll get over it, but I still want to keep that like human side of things, empathy about the people that I'm working with, because I feel like a lot of the times, not necessarily the managers themselves, but the way that the structure of like management, it changes people to feel more like numbers, and I don't like that. So I know I sound fucking naive and
it's a fair idea. It's a fair ideal to carry into something like that, because at least you're going to retain some decency, which like us being older and crankier in general. Just like, no, do what you're told.
Well, yeah, there obviously has to be those moments with certain shitheads that just like they'll go out the night before, get fucking drunk, come in the next morning, go, oh, I'm feeling sick, and you just be like, harden the fuck up, mate. Like, you drank, you're fine. You push through this. If I can do that when I was young, you can do it too. So there's those moments, of course.
I remember when I was teaching at the university, and there's like not necessarily a huge gap between like my age and some of the people studying. And like trying to be friendly but tough is like always, difficult. And eventually you go, look, mate, I think I just dropped truth bombs. So I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I've already got a job. Like, if you don't want to listen to me, don't listen to me. But guess what? Just play the game, right? I'm telling you the answers. Just make some fucking notes. Get your test done. Go get a job. Like, why you wasted your money? Like,
True. I mean, that's a good point.
Just give them a withering spray and rob them of all self-confidence, and then they will no longer be an issue. just break them down to their base components and fucking crush their will. That's all you've got to do.
Have you heard The Darkness? So listen, what The Darkness does is it breaks down.
Marlon just goes.
I've had to listen to you explain that 3 times, all while like gritting my teeth at the phone.
Isn't it?
Yeah, we're going to do it again today too, though. So that's good. No, but I'll help this time, I promise, rather than just fucking nitpicking in chat. All right, what have I done this week? Not much, really. I got Anarchy finally. That's my Destiny news of the week. We just sat there and farmed it all Wednesday night. Ain't Pro came in and put a curse on me, and it worked. And then he lifted the curse, and then I got it. Because he came in and he said, I curse Log, he won't get Anarchy. And I'm like, how you do me like that, man? Fuck you. And then he lifted the curse and I got it. So I've forgiven him. And he nailed his fucking Bungie bounty through the week with all the little Xbox kids just getting cranky in chat. Watched him go into dad mode a couple of times. I've never been so proud in my life. Just, I don't give a shit about your little issues. Watch me stream or fuck off. It's like,
when he puts on his dad voice, it's
he's a scary dude, man.
I like it.
I don't know whether I want to like buy him a beer or just like avoid him in general because he's an authority figure all of a sudden. But still
threatened. Actually, I was editing for Tamsin recently. You might have saw that video. I just released it for. In that, there was quite a few moments where Ain't Pro puts on that dad voice, especially when Tamsin fucking boiled butter. I don't know if you guys saw that, but she put a full block of butter. Try and melt it. She put it straight into a bowl of hot water. Just melted.
Just braised butter.
And Ain't Pro's face was just so devastated and disappointed. It was very funny. Oh, beautiful.
He does that well. He speaks very articulately, angrily, which is something that neither of us do here on the podcast. So if anyone ever needs a stern dressing down, we'll be pointing you towards Ain't Pro because we're more of the like withering spray variety, I think. All right. Well, what we might do, we might jump into.
Do you reckon I should get this? See, I know I'm not going to do it. Do you reckon I should get Anarchy?
Yeah, it's one of the better PvE weapons.
Yeah, it's a good gun.
Shoot, forget, and it does.
How many tries did it take, Log?
It took us about maybe 8.
No,
but hear me out. You do it with a decent team, which we had because of the boys, and you just farm the last encounter over and over again. You don't. It's not like 8 runs through the raid. You just farm that last encounter, and like as much as we were pretty shitty on Wednesday night, you can one phase it. And
in case you didn't realize,
takes
already,
nothing.
They buffed the drop rate, so you may actually get it in like 1 or 2 goes. You don't know. Like I know that I got it very quickly, and I know a lot of people have gotten it like first go quite a few times. I think Log just had a bit of bad luck there from 8 Pro.
Oh, it was fucking Aura. He's got it. He's had it for forever. I probably got it the week after it bloody dropped. The content dropped, and he was in there just soaking up all the Anarchies for everyone else. The fucking scumbag. Lovely guy.
I'd go for it, Mylan. It's definitely worth it. If you
anything else, is that at the top of the list of things I should get?
Anarchy's probably the most useful. Yeah.
What about this? What's the Black Armory sniper again?
Izanagi's, but that's a big grind, man. If you haven't started it.
Yeah, forget that. There's too many.
I think I'm on the last quest step for that. Whatever. Like I've got all the keys and all that kind of shit, and then it's like,
it's worth doing.
Isn't that doing all the actual things? What are they called again? I've forgotten the name of them.
I can't remember. I've repressed the memory, but I remember it being unpleasant.
Isn't that the long grind part? I don't know.
Look, I can't think of a person less synonymous with long grinds than Mylan games.
All I know is Anarchy is easier for you to get, and it's going to be more worth it to you.
Yeah, Anarchy's good, and it's not hard. It's just hanging in that last encounter for a while. That's all.
But see, Log, you're good at recruiting the troops. If I got people together, no one really wants that. They'd just be like, let's just talk shit.
Yeah, you fucking streamed fucking 5 times as many people I streamed to. If you go, hey, who wants to come in and help the fucking
Have you ever seen the Law Hobbits raid? Have you?
No, because you've done... I don't know, surely there's fucking 5 competent people in there among the...
You know why?
Why? They're useless.
Oh, Marlon, now that I've got you here, what do you think about... No, we're raiding! No more questions!
Oh, actually, that reminds me, Marlon. Marlon, what do you actually think about the Aldrin... Oh, no, we'll get to that later. It's fine.
Now, to be truth, I did have Ninji and Rohan, someone from chat, just carry me through the prophecy dungeon yesterday. First time.
Just fucking ask Ninja, seriously. I find it hard to believe that there'd be anything that he hasn't already done. So ask, just leverage your fucking profile a little bit. Just, hey man, you want to?
Also, Matt,
I'm the big swinging dick in law.
Tamsin and Fami have been doing some runs for people to try and get those last few items. They were running anarchy runs for people. So if you want,
Fam's all right at raids, I think.
Actually, that's not that's not a bad idea, actually.
Yeah. So you can use it as an opportunity to solidify friendships. Anyway, let's move on. I'm going to hit the sting. We're going to come back. We're going to discuss the ViDoc as we remember it, not like we've taken notes or anything. So ViDoc, imagine taking notes. There was a time in the DDU's history where I would have religiously watched through the ViDoc and jotted down all this sorts of stuff and ended up with a fucking Word document 6 sheets long, and we'd end up discussing. I know, right? But the thing that we've realized is that there's normally like 2 or 3 really important takeaway points, and then the rest of it, we end up just telling people things they already know or telling people things they don't fucking care about. So we'd rather just go off the vibe of the thing. That's the way we're going to the way we're going to assess it, right?
Very Australian way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's on brand. I really enjoyed it. I thought it came at the right time. It sent the right message, and a lot of the it really did get the hype train kicked it into gear, I think is probably the best term. I mean, we're all ready for this DLC to come anyway. The big talking points for mine are obviously fucking Uldren or whatever his name is now, the Crow.
Why does everyone keep banging on the difference between the Crow and Uldren and all this kind of stuff?
Because he's fucking been reborn and he doesn't remember who he is, and
why does everyone keep saying he's not Uldren, he's a Crow? Because he was a Crow beforehand.
Yes, but the point is that his actual identity now is no longer Uldren. He doesn't self-identify as Uldren. He doesn't know who he is. You know how when we're Guardians, when we're reborn, we don't actually know.
But who gave him the name the Crow? The community or Bungie?
Not sure actually. I don't
know. It was named that in like the concept art. So I think they've just turned it full circle.
Do you remember, Mylan, the first trailer that Destiny shown story-wise, you actually had the Crow and Bungie named him the Crow, and he was actually like pointing a gun at the Guardian, and he said something like real cryptic and shit, and he looked cool. That scene never happened in Destiny 1. That's what he looks like now. That's what his demeanor is.
Yeah. Okay, if they called him the Crow in the trailer, okay, I see it. I just saw all these people screaming, he's not Uldren, he's a Crow. I'm like, well, he was the Crow before. He led the Crow. Like, he led the group, the Crows, fucking whatever they call. Like, that was his title beforehand.
You know what I'm fucking getting sick of? I'm getting sick of people going, he's not the same person. He doesn't remember. Fucking, you know what? It's bullshit. And I'm going to give you a fucking case in point example of why. I, at times in my life, have been so shit-faced that I couldn't remember what I did. But I still had to wake up and deal with the fucking consequences of it. And if you're telling me that there's a way that I can just go, I don't remember, I'm fucking innocent, then I'd probably have a much better fucking marriage than I do, okay? So we can fucking move on. He's a cunt. He'll always be a cunt. The end.
But I think it's a philosophical issue of whether or not, if someone can remember them doing something, whether or not that it doesn't excuse them, but whether or not we actually are able to move on and forgive them. Let them actually move on with their life. That's what I think the philosophy question is. Because I personally am totally down to bring this new character into the universe and actually teach him what he did and why it was wrong. And so that way it gives him a better, it gives him a story arc to be able to, I don't know, he'll fight harder because he knows he fucked up. He'll try and make that wrong good. He'll try and right that wrong, you know? I think that's cool. We can send him suicide missions.
Look, that's the other part of it. The same comment in Twitch chat, which was by Gabbo Adel. This is the most violent Australian take on law I've ever heard.
Gabbo. I love Gabbo.
I read that, and then I read Jugs that that was before we found out that all you had to do to absolve yourself of responsibility is take 2 months off Twitter and then write a twit longer and pretend it never happened.
Wow. Oh, the burn.
You know, look, you can come back from being an irredeemable piece of shit. That's all it takes. Look, I have no issue with Uldren or the Crow or whatever coming back into the game. And I hope that that part of it is exactly what you've said, Alpha, in that we do discuss with him, like, look, this is why everyone fucking hates you. You need to understand that. And I hope that at some point in his tenure in the in his story arc that he finds a way to redeem himself. I think that would be cool.
Exactly.
I think there's nothing better than a redemption arc, right? But for now, I think that the logical thing to do is just still think he's a bit of a prick, because to be honest, he still seemed like a bit of a prick. So
you know what? Yeah. I've just thought of a video. Why you shouldn't hate Aldrin. Why you shouldn't, I'm writing it down. Because Aldrin, before he went into the Black Garden for the very first time, was like uber nice. He was actually a nice guy.
Was he though?
Yes.
Yeah, but like,
are you sure?
Yeah, I mean, he was, but then he went into the Black Garden. It's like, you know what? Log was such a lovely guy, and then he got into the then he got into the Black Douglas, and he took up meth or fucking whatever, and now he's a bit of a prick. You don't go,
am I missing something? He was a fucking prick to you in Destiny 1 when you first.
Yeah, but that was after that he went into the Black Garden. Yeah.
Like pre Aldrin.
He went way. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That is in there. So like maybe at his base foundation of a human being is decent, like me.
Why are we caring about that? That's not who we know.
Well, maybe he's gonna work his way back to that in his fucking story arc as the Crow or fucking whatever other Brandon Lee movie they're gonna rip off, whatever.
Right.
Okay, look, I don't know why. I don't know what's happened to me today or this week or whatever, but I'm just a little bit cranky, hey, and like I feel like it's coming across. It's coming across. And you know what? If you don't want cranky log, just fucking I don't know, listen to something else. Tap out now. It's probably not going to end.
Don't worry, I like log. You guys should have heard him before we even went live.
It was into just everything for the rant. Anyway, so I guess we've talked ourselves to a standstill on Aldrin. The other things that we saw, I don't know. I feel like this is glossed over a little bit, but I feel like the weather system stuff is going to be real good for like getting multiple spins out of sort of the same spaces, because you can completely retreat an area. You know, like, I mean, look at it using this example. Like, you think about when we went onto the Almighty, the only part that anyone remembers of the Almighty is the part where you were outside being fucking burnt by the sun hiding under the panels. The rest of it
was pretty cool.
So if they can re-hit that kind of like, oh, holy shit, we've got to stay in cover or we're going to get fucking blown away by the wind or whatever.
I would want to just put on like a little bit of a negative thing there. This was supposed to be implemented into the concept of Destiny at the beginning. I don't know if you guys remember again. It was supposed to be part of the functions of Destiny.
It's supposed to have dynamic weather and whatever, yeah.
Yeah, but I think they got cut for whatever reason. Probably the original consoles couldn't handle it, I'm guessing. You know, Xbox 360, remember, it did launch on that.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the frames to drop down to fucking 10 every time a blizzard comes through.
We don't have to worry about that. We're all on PC.
PC doesn't matter, exactly. Yeah. So I'm excited for that too. I'm really am excited to get that finally, because it's something I really wished happened at the beginning.
I feel like it can add a lot of actual like kind of life to the world, right?
Definitely. It makes it feel more alive. Yeah.
Yep. Right. What else? What else was in there? I missed this completely, but I saw fucking tweets about it afterwards. What is Zavala doing with the Cabal? What is going on there? Zavala and Osiris.
Chunky boys.
Yeah, they were big boppers too. Like they were, I don't
know. Big boys.
Big boy.
It reminds me when you go out with your New Zealand lads. You marry bros.
It was like me. It was like me at PAX standing between fucking Tower and Chucky.
Yeah.
Just fuck you assholes being so tall. Anyway. What I don't know. Is there any lore master? Can you telegraph what the fuck that's about? You have a guess?
No. Like the only bit that was referred to the Cabal previously was that there was going to be two forces. There was going to be people that went and joined Kyaddle, and then would have the Cabal Empress return, or they would join Callus's death cult. So I don't get the Cabal yet. Not too sure.
So do you guys? I hope that you know how you saw in the trailer, Zavala's pretty against using stasis. He obviously thinks it's the darkness. He's doing the whole, you know, need to stick by the light traveler thing. He's trying to be that true loyal dog that he always has been. But I feel like he doesn't see the bigger picture. But do you remember in the last season, he sort of just, I don't know, he was against us doing anything, and then he just suddenly like was like, yeah, whatever, it's fine, and it helps us. I hope that he really sticks to his guns and gets really pissed off at us for using stasis. And I hope there's like sort of like a...
Yeah, I think you're on the money. I think there
I want a
needs to
civil
be...
war.
I think there needs to be like a yardstick in at least the storytelling of where we've come from, right? Because this... If otherwise the choice to pick up like darkness is, you know, it doesn't carry any weight. So for us to go, okay, we're going to use this shit now because it's probably going to be the, you know, it'll be a plot tool because it's the only way we can defeat Aramis or whatever. I think to have someone there saying like, holy shit, are you guys sure? It makes it, you know, there's an element of risk there, and that makes it more interesting. So I'd be surprised if he goes any other way. Like he may do the big, yes, in the end you were right, blah, 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 you know, after it's all said and done.
I don't want him to do that. I want him to stick to it. I want him to be really annoyed at us. Because
you won the battle. You won the battle. You're dead to me, bitch.
But do you remember that choice we made with with Gambit, with the Drifter?
Yeah,
and that was a huge thing, right? It was supposed to affect things later. I wonder if this is the culmination of that at all.
Yeah, but I don't think any of us are going to get given the choice to choose, right? Like we're all getting stasis. It's going to be written into the plot. So I don't see how. I don't know. I've been hoping that Destiny's going to go down that line of like, you know, that was cool. That was a cool few weeks when we were doing that, the Drifter and the Vanguard. Well, it was kind of Praxic order or whatever. It was cool because it gave us something pointless to argue about, like faction rallies, and that always makes Destiny more interesting.
You know what we were talking about yesterday on the DCP was like, I feel, and I sort of agree with this. I think that like every release, whether it's a big one or a small one, just adds some new mechanic that you can see where a lot of the effort has gone into.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I would love for there to be like a faction war and to have like a full blown faction system, but it's sort of like, oh, if you're going to add umbral engrams and transmog and then like another fucking buy this to buy that to get this to get the quest to get the, like, it's like, come on. Like we still haven't settled on like a formula for Destiny. It changes every season.
I agree. I think that like the thing that they need to seriously fucking set the expectations for like, it's probably not a like a tentpole release like what this is, right? It's not like a September or November now update, you know, that sets up the next year. But if they were to say, okay, over the next year worth of updates, we're not going to be giving you a new activity per season, like the Sundial that comes in and fucks off, or whatever the one in Season of the Undying was. If they were to go, we're going to look at the things that are already there and refine them, I think it would be huge. Because there's a shitload of stuff there that's fucking great.
It's about like mechanics.
True.
Like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it could be anything. I mean, I'm looking forward to there being only one fucking Gambit, to be perfectly honest. I feel like that's a step in the right direction. Not that I'm ever planning on playing it again, but still.
So like we've got umbral engrams now, which gives you some control over what your engram decrypts into. Fantastic. You're going to get transmog as well. Fantastic. Do we need to fuck any more with that system? Can that not be how you get your weapons, how you get your armor, a bit of RNG, a bit of control, and then all the rest of the effort is like not developing some new umbral engram next season or some new like a fundamental mechanic of the game, of the loot system, and focus on the activities that you get.
Yeah. Or expanding the current system that's already there and making
or expanding on the current activities.
I think a lot of people were upset that there's, you know, like basic stuff that we've had since the dawn of Destiny time in terms of vendor refreshes and stuff that haven't happened.
Yes,
and,
like
and
that
like,
stuff.
Yeah, that stuff. That's what you're getting at. Like there's no weapon refresh for the Crucible where you go to use your weapons, right? There's an armor refresh. There's no weapon refresh. So you're just going to be getting wish enders for the next 100 years. You know, Luke Smith said that in the interview that he did on the Twitch podcast or whatever it was. I didn't catch the podcast, but I've seen a lot of snippets taken from it. So I agree. I think that would be I'd be totally receptive of that, and I think a lot of the community would if they said, look, this time around, there's no gimmick, right? It's just the season of modest improvements.
Yeah, I think that'd be fine. As long as they were completely, you know, honest and told us exactly what we're getting that season, and you know, the next season might be a bigger one. That would be totally fine.
When you look at how excited people are for fucking transmog,
of like, surely we get into the final system of Destiny, which is like, this is how you masterwork stuff, and it's not going to change. This is how you get your loot, and it's not going to change. Every time you play the game, this is the expectation. The things that will be new every season are the things you actually do, not the fundamental core mechanics of the loot and shoot.
They have to be careful though, because people over time end up getting an insane amount of whatever they decide is the system at the time. Like, I have stupid amounts of tokens. So if they kept the you know, the experience gaining of, you know, token farming, basically, I would be essentially able to game the system next season. But the fact that they took that out is actually a good thing, because now I actually have to play the next season properly.
Yeah, I think a lot of us that are playing a shitload, you know, would just be sitting around waiting for the lottery to come up, and Lord Shaxx being the dude that you could go to and throw fucking tokens at to.
Yeah, okay, hold on a second, but like, but this is what happens, right? Okay, you got all the tokens. Okay, so they changed the token system. It didn't change what you get from your tokens. No. You still get the same dog shit.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you prefer to like have a new loot pool?
Well, you know what I want to know? You know what I want to know? Why can't we just have one fucking token? Like a fucking seasonal token. It solves all the issues, and you can go to a fucking whatever vendor and they accept the token, you know, like actual fucking money in the real world, right? Like where you go and you're like, you have something I want, here's my fucking tokens for it, and they're universal, and you get your thing. You don't have to, like, you just get one fucking token type, and you can spend it wherever.
I don't like the token system at all. I just know it's not going to go away. I liked the way Destiny 1 did the reputation with factions. That way you didn't have to worry about having this other currency to hand into someone. It just, you earned your reputation. They had a fucking they had their gear change over time, and you would go and see what they had each week. It was a good way to do it, and if you didn't have enough reputation, you couldn't get what they had. I liked that.
Anyway, I feel like I've brought down
it's
hatred upon, but it's not a case. Look, I would just love for there to be
Cyborgs in the chat. You're describing Glimmer. I'm not describing Glimmer, because Glimmer's like fucking, if you had, I don't know, like Macca's Monopoly fucking tokens or some shit that you couldn't use to redeem anything that were expired, because fucking Glimmer is pointless. It's like the universal currency that's used for fucking nothing. Anyway.
Got him.
Good. Yeah, right. Sorry. Whew, I'm going to take a deep breath. What did you guys see in the fucking ViDoc that really...
look, the good stuff. Tickled
your giblets.
The Stranger is back. I just want to say I'm so happy.
Yeah, that was an exciting development. What was that fucking ship about in the trailer, though? Holy shit.
Transformer ship?
Yeah. Solid content.
I was surprised about Season of the Hunt. They sort of didn't really have much of a lead in. I'm like, wait, what are we talking about? Oh, this is a season that's like, which always confused me. How you have the expansion and then there's a season there's a season tucked in there as well. So they started talking about Zavala, the other sister, the other Hive sister.
Oh yeah, I did hear that.
Yeah, right.
I didn't see that coming, honestly. So,
no,
I don't know. I mean, I struggle with her place in sort of like the I guess the pantheon of the Hive gods, because she's the outright strength one, isn't she?
The sister of war.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, is she always going to be like sort of like an underling of Savathun for that reason? In that, like, I imagine someone who's just outright wanting to kill things is pretty easily manipulated by someone whose literal speciality is tricking people into doing what they want.
Well, imagine this. I didn't think of this until just then. We've only ever seen Oryx in the flesh. We've never seen the designs for Savathun or Xifu. So there could be some. I mean, look, if we get a season that revolves around Xifu or Wrath, and we just hear voiceover of an Ascendant Hive and don't actually see Xifu, that'd be pretty disappointing.
Have we seen Savathun?
No.
Yeah, so
I don't think so.
I wouldn't. I think that we'll probably. I mean, the Witch Queen. Clearly, the next big drop after this one, the next big annual drop is clearly about Savathun, right?
What if Savathun's just an idea?
Fucking hell! I mean, Savathun is just an idea because this is a video game and we're talking about made up shit. So we can confirm.
Well, it's not. Someone's put in chat, Hanson, that we're almost setting ourselves up for another Nokra situation.
Yeah, it does. That's probably my concern with it. In that, like, we're just gonna get this hive god and just go, fucking, you know, like it's gonna be an underwhelming fight. Oh, but we killed you and your fucking worm god, mate. No worries. Like, just blew through it. Stephen Fry was there. It was fucking cool. Anyway, moving on.
You know what? Like those big characters, they need to be in dungeons.
They need to be the raid bosses.
Yeah.
They need to be the raid bosses. I know that not everyone in Destiny gets to play the raids, but
that's the issue. That's the issue.
No, but like, look, honestly, the way that they did the Taken King in that respect was incredible because you got to kill Oryx in the real world and banish him to his throne world. And then if your E-Peen was big enough and you had enough friends, you could go into the raid and fucking kill him in his own house in a very unsportsmanlike gesture, but at the same time, totally worth it for the loot. I think that they've got to be mindful of that. And I think that, like, the only thing in Destiny that has the gravity of killing a fucking god is a raid boss, whether they like it or not. There can be half measures in there. There could be a dungeon where you go through and you banish fucking Zivurath to a throne world and then the raid is going in there to finish her off or whatever. But I don't feel like Destiny will ever be able to do service to major characters like that and killing them without it being the raid boss. I just think it's the way it has to be. Little darling.
Rebuttal.
Okay.
Halo never had raid bosses. Had
Halo
fantastic
didn't have
villains.
fucking raids.
Exactly. So we know that they can make a fucking decent villain in a mission.
All right,
That's
look.
true.
Hear me out. What if
Halo had you punch a guy in a wheelchair?
the best thing ever. Like, honestly, best fucking boss fight.
Sometimes I worry that we're too toxic for this, and then I realize that our chat is far more toxic than us. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. What if they had us fight characters like this in a solo context? Because I feel like that's why those boss encounters are satisfying as fucking Halo. Like, they are hard. You can't sidestep them. You are the person who goes in there and does it. What if it had to be that way for Destiny? I know it goes against a lot of the fundamental Destiny stuff, but if for these missions, they were solo missions and you went in there and you did it yourself, then what? I'm just thinking out loud.
I actually don't mind the idea of when you first play an expansion, you go solo. I know, but the thing is, Destiny sits in such a social space. Like, how many people? Like, I think I'm probably the exception rather than the rule, where I don't jump in Discord on release day because I need to listen to every fucking little bit of dialogue that's ever said.
I'm like that
and
too.
read everything that comes up on the screen, so I have an idea of how to make a content and get content out before Rick Kackers gets his videos out. Right?
You cannot beat Rick. You know you cannot beat Rick. Rick is. I'm convinced Rick is actually like at least triplets, all named Rick, Mick, and Dick. I don't know, but they're all the same person, and they're all working towards the same goal, living the one life in triplicate, right? And that's why it's so fucking good, because I can't find another reason, to be honest. He's more than a man.
I'm
We'll
not even.
I
don't make content for like lore wise, but I'm the same way. Every time a new release comes out, I actually have to not be in Discord chat, just like actually play through it solo, listen to the lore, listen to the story. I like to play through the campaign of the new expansion by myself first before I jump in with friends. Obviously, I can't do that with raids and strikes you're not supposed to and all that sort of stuff. It's all very social, but the main campaign I like to do by myself. Only because I think that that's more personal and it is very interesting what you were talking about before, Log. Going back to Taken King, one of the most satisfying things to do was that single player mission where you don't have to do it single player, but for me, I did it single player. It was just a mission at the end of the storyline where you banish Oryx. You banish him off. And that was really that scene where you walk into that room, and
it's fucking cool, man. Yeah,
just fucking opens up, and it becomes his wings, and you realize he's just this huge shadowy figure in the background. That was just a perfect moment for me in Destiny.
But do you know what? I reckon we're gonna get something similar. Like, I don't think you can repeat the narrative of like, oh, you killed him here, now you got to go kill him in the throne. Like, I think that gets boring.
You're right. Yeah,
but I think what they did with something like Rise of Iron, and I think we're going to get something very similar here, is I can't see how Eramis is linked to Deepstone Crypt. And I really hope that there's some sort of, obviously there'll be some narrative arc between them, but they are almost separate storylines or parallel storylines like we had in Rise of Iron, which was Rise of Iron, you went into the Siva replication chamber and you destroyed the, mutated Iron Lords there, but then there was remnant Siva out in the world still, so you had to go take on the Fallen. So they were parallel storylines, and that felt impactful. I think
I'll do the classic Power Slave, have a pun at what I reckon will happen.
Right, go on.
I reckon the whole thing with Eramis is the motive to get us to Europa. We go through, we deal with all of that, and while we're doing that, we discover what's actually still there, and then put together the pieces that Deepstone Crypt is still there, and then from that there's some tie-in with Rasputin there. I don't know whether we're going to get Rasputin put into like an exo frame or something like that, but I feel like Rasputin's kind of like the MacGuffin fucking sitting there in his engram, saved from being further harmed, but kind of useless, but is also a main massive character in the history of the game. I feel like, let's go in there and see if we can use this for whatever. And then it's about defeating whatever's in there and taking control of it and doing that. So
DDU monkey with a typewriter mode.
Get on it. Yeah, that's pretty appropriate.
I reckon you're right. You know what's fucking upsetting, right? Because I brought this up a bit on DCP. The standard player, or not even standard player, a lot of people don't even know that Rasputin's in an engram right now.
Yeah, it was very poorly conveyed. Yeah. I feel like if they're going to do something that significant, and it does feel like a setup for something else. Like at some point we're going to have to get Rasputin out of a fucking engram, right? Or is he just going to be a fucking Kinder Surprise for the rest of his life? Right? Like, he's just in there and just fucking pick me up, put me back together. My mind is a bag of fucking cats. Anyway,
dude, I went to Yowies. Remember Yowies?
Oh yeah, dude, Yowies was superior if you care about the natural world.
I used to collect the books.
Yeah, they were pretty rad. Yowies. They were selling Yowies again for a little while. This is probably the most savage aside on DDU history.
To be a Mylan nerd for a second, I know that Cade died, unfortunately, rest in peace, but obviously a lot of his lore is tied to Deepstone Crypt. Do you think we'll get any more of that?
Do you know what people have been bringing up, Log, heaps? When fucking Christopher Barrett came in and dropped all that bullshit about long, slow whisper. Do you remember that?
Why can't someone write a Reddit post to get some more views on the fucking podcast, for God's sake?
Guys, go back. I'll post a video link. Go back. I have screenshots in there. BNG. What was his tag again?
Oryx.
BNG. By the way, that's how Oryx got his name from Mr. Barrett. Get wrecked. What's the question again, Alpha? Cade 6.
Yeah, Cade 6 is obviously tied in with the Deepstone Crypt quite closely. Because he's out of the story now. Do you think we'll even get any mention of him?
All right, my prediction is there'll be an Easter egg. We know that there's a so in the new book, in the law book, the collector's edition, Clovis Brace says, I have a library of thousands or something of volunteers. If you remember, Cade 6 was coerced into volunteering into the EXO project because he fucked up a whole bunch of Clovis Brace ships when he was on a mission.
Yep.
And to get rid of his debt, he signed up with Clovis Bray. So guarantee his
there's got to at least be a nod.
What's that?
There's got to at least be a nod to him there. It is his origin, right? Like, it'd be remiss if there wasn't.
I reckon, I hope. And look, if it's not in there and you are someone from Bungie, just slip it in, right? I reckon.
Oh,
wow.
Like literally slip a text file somewhere in there showing, I don't know, the
K.txt.
I don't know.
Yeah, like
what happened to his family? That's what I want to know.
Put it on the computer screen, or people press a couple buttons, little secret Easter egg. Oh, what's this file?
Yeah.
Ace something, or it just doesn't matter. It can be subtle.
Ace.exe.
Ace
can't be opened because of the firewall.
Like a log of them having on file on record that his family was actually looked after afterwards. I don't know, before
something wholesome, some wholesome end to it all.
I want to know a good ending on that story somehow. It'd be
No, you know what'd be better? This would be better. You find Cade's file and you just see up on screen it just has a profile of human Cade. And it just says family, none. That's it.
Yeah, so it was all
that would raise so many more questions, and oh my fucking god, no.
It's just Nathan Fillion from fucking Firefly. Family, none.
Nathan Fillion in the game, just chilling there.
They just ripped the Buck model from from Halo. He was an ODST shock trooper.
It was the same one. Yep.
Yeah, it was just Buck, just fucking things up. All right, what else was in there? I mean, we really didn't talk too much about the actual. I mean, the fact that the whole HUD changes is cool. Probably the other massive talking point coming out of it is that there's a little node where you select darkness subclasses, and Luke Smith has confirmed on his Twitch interview that I have not yet watched, but I've read lots of things about that. There are other coming darkness subclasses.
Yeah, so, every year.
That's fucking massive. I think there'll be one rolled out until Lightfall. We'll see the last one.
Shows me it'll be as big as what we have currently with the light at some point. We'll have light side subclasses as well as our dark side subclasses, all in tandem. I think that's really cool.
See, this is what I think of when I think of a long-lasting Destiny, and it sort of comes back to what I was saying before. If you don't. Like if you've got the foundational with your engrams and your masterworking and your economy, you can put more time and effort into new subclasses, new loot pools, new activities. Like if the playground has all the sand in it, then you can start putting the toys in there. But I feel like every year we fucking rip out the sand and we put in different sand and all this sounds fucked. And then the community's like, it sounds fucked, cunt. And then they get more sand in.
Boo, shit sand, get it out.
Shit sand. It's a sandbox. You need the foundation. Anyway.
What an analogy for a sandbox, an actual sandbox.
Pit. Yeah, an actual sand pit. But how cool is that? I mean, I think this expansion is going to be fresh because of new location and new subclass, because it doesn't look like a whole bunch of other stuff going into it. And I think it's going to be quite narrative heavy, which I think is going to be good. And it's great to see that there's going to be continued expansion of. So it's not going to be stasis, right? It's going to be something else, another darkness subclass.
It'll be interesting to see what they are. Because the way Bungie has always done it, stasis is tied to kind of like the entropy of things and all of that sort of stuff. So there'll be some, if someone's smart enough to be out there looking at this sort of stuff right now, they'll almost certainly be able to pick up what direction it's going, because it'll be based in at least some capacity, something real.
They're calling it cosmic ice.
So, yeah.
Cosmic is the word.
Oh, holy shit. The breast pump. Can we talk about that for a minute? I need to know where that is in game. I think that's the coolest shit ever. The way you can like sound design, like in that context, fucking unbelievable. To sit in your apartment and be confined to an apartment, you know, due to COVID, and still find ways to, like, what does cosmic ice sound like? I don't know. I'm in my apartment in the Pacific Northwest, and I'll just fucking find a way to make it happen, and it happens. Like, get fucked. That's insane. That's like arcane magic. It doesn't make sense.
But you know what that reminds? Oh, someone already complained about how much Halo we're talking about. My favorite videos to watch are those like Halo sound ones.
All the time. They're really
where they do all this crazy shit, like, oh, what's that sound? And it's some fucking Nissan hatchback fucking bracket that opens up the boot, and it goes, like, oh, that's a good sound. I get the microphone and capture
dog that does all the flood sounds. That's so.
The what?
Have you not seen the dog that does all the flood sounds from Halo 3?
No.
You need to look that shit up, Mylon.
Yeah, isn't it like a sleeping fucking pug or something like that?
Oh, a little pug makes all the flood sounds from Halo 3.
Noises.
How sick is that? He's so cute.
Hive is
apparently he's done some voice acting for Halo Infinite, and that's why people are thinking maybe there's flood in Halo Infinite. Because he.
Do you need to list a pug in like IMDb? Is that a fucking thing?
I hope so. But he's in the actual like credits of the games.
Oh, there you go. Whoever it is that's complaining about talking about Halo, fuck off.
Some Halo fans here. I mean, if you're a Destiny fan, I'm not saying you have to be a Halo fan, but you have to at least appreciate where it came from.
Yeah, and speaking as like the most recent convert to the Church of Halo, Mylan Games himself, he can definitely speak to that. But look, there is a shitload to talk about Destiny-wise, so we'll stay on target.
Breast pump sound.
I just thought.
Do you know what they should do?
I feel like
do a quiz. They should like find this sound. They should do weekly videos of find this sound, and they'll show you the breast pump, and then everyone's gonna go away.
That would be cool. Be like a treasure
hunt. That would be cool.
But it's like turning Destiny into like shit tier radio. Like, can you name that sound?
I mean,
is it a fart? No, it's not a fart.
If Mylan's gonna do any content, that could be his content. Get everyone to look for sounds in Destiny.
There you go. That sounds like a fucking deal. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it was just. I hope that they continue that trend of like they focus on some obscure, well, not necessarily obscure, but some underappreciated aspect of the production that goes into these games. Everything. Like, I mean, if they did a motion capture one, or I think we've seen some stuff like that in the past. We did see, I think it was a couple of ViDocs ago, we saw a little bit of, it was the last one that Cade was in. Remember where they spawned in going into the Prison of Elders where he ultimately dies, but they showed like the actors and how they were mocapping that. I think stuff like that's fucking really cool because there's so many people that do great work on this franchise that like exist in that space that like it's stuff that people don't really understand that they're even interacting with. So unreal. Good to see it get a nod.
I want to see the stunt teams. Like I really want to know who does all the stunts because there are, I don't know if you guys know my background personally, but I come from a bit of a stunt background, gymnastics, that sort of stuff. And I recognize a lot of movements in the game that come out of like the emotes sometimes, or like movements that the characters do for supers, that kind of stuff. A lot of them are moves that people do in real life. And I know someone motion captured it. And I'd love to know who I want to know the people behind that sort of stuff. I think it would be really cool. I think they need to do more of that.
I agree. Totally agree. All right. Is there anything else that we need to desperately talk about the ViDoc? I feel like it's probably all been done to death. I feel like it's been poured over.
I feel like one of the devs had thongs on, so we need to send him a can of Foster's and an Australian certificate.
Yep.
I didn't even notice, but and look, if you are American, we're not talking the underwear. We're talking the fucking what you would call flip flops. Just know that you're wrong. They're called thongs.
What about hand cannon changes?
We kind of did that to death last week with Riot, but I don't know. I'm fine with it. I just think they need to rejig this sort of stuff, and as long as they compete more effectively with autos, I think it'll be fine.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I hope as long as it's competing, and I'm actually kind of excited for the 120s. I always liked the slow firing hand cannons. No one does, but I like them.
No, I don't know. I don't mind them. All right, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that there was a huge thing in the ViDoc that we've left unturned. If you're in chat, let us know. But what we might do, we might quickly.
Emirates destroyed a servitor.
Oh, that was
punched the shit out of it.
I thought
Wait,
that.
was it the ViDoc or was that the other trailer that came out just after it?
No, it was in the ViDoc and the trailer, I think. I don't know, maybe just the trailer, one of the two. They're kind of blurring together for me at this point.
Yeah, there's a lot of
basically that they no longer have to be reliant on the
ether
that they survive on, and it's kind of interesting thought for them because they are sort of tethered to that, and her doing that is a big statement, I guess, for the Fallen in general.
Yeah, I mean that's meant to be their gods, right? So she just did a big fuck you to God, just sucker punched it.
She's basically saying they are gods now.
Yeah, I mean, if you can take that kind of power, why wouldn't you? But I feel like we're probably going to get in there and give her a big slap on the back of the wrist. No, thank you, Aramis. And that'll be the end of it. All right, we might jump into quickly blasting through the TWAB because we did see, I'll throw up the roadmap right about now. That's probably the most important part of, it was released with the ViDoc, but it's also in the TWAB. So 10th, sorry, the fucking American dates, it kills me every time. Yeah. On the 10th of November, Beyond Light drops. On the 11th, on the 10th, still we get the seasonal artifact, Empire Hunts, and the Glassway Strike. It does look very pretty, just judging from the little. Izzy, what's in here? Yes, Matt.
Can I ask a question? Just a quick cultural question, right? Because we would say 10th of November, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, when you say it as words.
Yep.
If you're American, do you always say November the 10th?
That's a good question.
I can't answer that being by virtue.
Because if you say 10th of November and then you write it the other way around, you're all fucked.
Right. Anyway, moving on. On the fucking, it's just doing my head in because I keep going on the 11th and on the 11th and also on the 11th of the 17. Whatever fucking month that is next year. So between the 10th and the 12th, we just uncover Europa's secrets. On the 13th, we get to jump into the first toxic trials of the new meta and check out the adept weapons. Or, I mean, we probably won't because we're all shit, but still. On the 17th, the season mission begins, which is the season of the hunt. And Wrathborn hunts begin, which I suppose is going to be much like Nightmare hunts. At least it feels that way. The raid opens on the 21st, the Deep Stone Crypt. The first Iron Banner is on the 8th of December. The Dawning kicks off on the 15th of December, and more is happening also. More.
More.
There's a shitload there for a month and a half. let's be fair. You're not going to be running dry of stuff.
But what actually activities are there? You don't know what they are yet.
Yeah, we don't. We don't. And they might end up just being like the public event from Season of Arrivals and just pooped here.
Because you got to think about how much effort's gone into the new subclasses and the new destination.
Yeah, and I mean, when you think back to Season of the Undying, which is the one that ran concurrently to the launch of Shadowkeep, it was pretty light. And I think that's fine. If the Season of the Hunt is light and it's just sort of there to progress the story that runs for the next year, fine. I think if you're going to do that, now's the time.
To be honest, like I honestly think that stasis will be enough for me. Like it'll be enough of a change for it to feel really fresh. And obviously taking a big break from actually playing Destiny. So like, I don't think I'm going to have any trouble. But I do think that people that live and breathe Destiny are
probably going to be feel like it runs dry a little bit quicker.
Yeah. But I mean, what's new?
Along with the
and then they'll complain about it on fucking Twitter. Well,
along with the old Cosmodrome, are they bringing back like Sebix Prime, for example, the strikes from?
I don't believe so. That hasn't been said yet.
We saw Omnigul. We saw the Omnigul strike area.
Well, this strike area for it. I think it'll be interesting to see how much of that area actually comes back. I mean, obviously that little passageway, but could you only get in there in the Omnigul strike? I can't remember. I mean, obviously it's a space that's set within that area, so maybe
I don't think it goes anywhere, so I think you could only get in there with the Omnigul strike, but I can't remember.
Yeah, because it was that door before it, right before that area.
I know you could get into Sebix Prime's area without being in the strike. I know that area was able to be gotten to, but...
the other thing, it doesn't appear that the entire D1 Cosmodrome is coming back. We're certainly not getting the Plague Lands back, and there seems to be a little bit more that's been shaved off the sides. I like whatever. I'm sure that they'll find a way to use the space fucking effectively and all that sort of stuff. I saw some people having a good old bitch, but you know, whatever, fuck it. Who cares?
Speaking about the old Cosmo, New Light, they're doing all those revamp changes for it for new players. They got that character. What's that character's name?
Shorhan. Yeah, we got to see him.
Saying it's him.
That he 100% isn't fucking Uldren, which is, you know, like not like something that everyone already knew anyway.
Glad I got my views off it.
Yeah, pedaled that one out, didn't you, Matty? Good on you, boy. That one's going to get metricked.
To be fair on Matt there, he's sort of filling the role that Crow from the original trailer was supposed to fill, I think. He was supposed to be your guide.
He was supposed to be that guy. And he's coming out of a shipping crate, if I remember correctly. So, yeah.
But I'm excited for that, to even just play through that and see new people coming through. And I don't know, I like that. I liked the area back in, you know, D1, playing through and helping new people run through the area and kill that spider tank. That was fun.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's, you know, like if we can hang in an area, or there's a reason for us to be in an area where new Guardians are coming in, I think that's wholesome. I think Destiny's kind of missed that for a little while. The biggest announcement in the TWAB, I guess, was the soft cap, hard cap, and pinnacle caps. The caps of all three varieties.
Kappas.
Kappas. I don't think they were quite as high as some people thought. So personally, given that the contest modifier for the raid is 1230, I believe, most people should be able to get up and get there by the time the raid kicks around. So it's going to be a relatively even playing field.
I think I can do it now, Log. Do you think we've actually got a chance of having the world's shit raid team and actually like getting through some encounters?
I feel like we'll be at level. I just don't feel like we're going to be good enough to do anything about it.
I believe in you guys. You got this.
Well, that makes one person. So the soft cap is 1200, the hard cap is 1250, and the pinnacle cap is 1260. So you'll be given blues up until 1200. That'll just, you know, probably just don't infuse anything up to that point. The hard cap 1250 you get from powerfuls. Now, the important change coming to powerful engrams this season is that they will drop off the back of doing activities, much like I guess prime engrams do now. So you can continue to raise your light level just by doing whatever you want to do. It won't be a particularly effective strategy for trying to do it quickly, but it's kind of been one of those things that's always given me the shits about, you know, like I like just hanging in the crucible. So if we can get to a point where that is even occasionally rewarding beyond the, you know, doing your drops at the start of the week or whatever, I think that's a good thing. I think it's a good space. There's some stuff about like we don't need to talk about the economic shit, do we? The fucking materials and whatever.
No. Oh look, as I've actually I've read it because I didn't read it. Someone read it to me on the podcast yesterday. What I do like is you can just grind your activities now and get powerful rewards.
Yeah, I think that's a good deal.
Play the game to get your powerful
I mean,
rewards.
Rumble AFK is going to be fucking mate. I hope there's some PvP weapons because I'm just going to farm Rumble, baby. Like multi kills, fucking whatever you need in PvP.
Just from dickheads that are there AFK farming. Fucking hell.
I'm going to inflate that KD.
I didn't think about that. It's going to be a mess.
No, I'm happy about those changes because I think it's a good change. It means you get to play the actual content you want to play and still progress, and I think that's a good thing with any game. You don't want to have to feel forced into doing a specific.
Yeah, I mean we've been saying this for ages. Just let us play what you want, and with the token reduction or how they're changing tokens, it seems like the way that you're gonna level up quickest is just doing the activity you like.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Which is great.
Yep. Which is cool. That's cool. Maybe they'll reduce the AFK timer, hey? Like to stop people doing that shit. Yeah, or maybe there'll have to be some metric in there that is at least measuring that you're participating to give you the reward.
Nah, people will have macros already. People already have macros set, which is just...
It fucking makes me such a sad panda. Anyway. So there are changes coming to Spider. He's going to be railroading people just as hard, but in a different way. You can go and buy. You'll be able to go and buy legendary shards. Sorry, prisms, enhancement prisms from him. They are 400 legendary shards, which, in my opinion, is a fucked deal. It's very expensive.
Okay, hold on.
Yes.
You know me. I've never fucking masterworked anything in my life. The prisms are the ones that are like, they're like the. Explain the hierarchy.
They come between like your cores. They're the thing above golf ball, below golf balls. So they're the triangular, the crystal thing.
And how many do you need to make a golf ball?
10.
So you get how many for 400?
1.
Yeah.
So 4,000 shards for a golf ball.
Yep. No.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
4,000 shards for a golf ball.
Or you can just farm them in the nightfalls.
How many golf balls to masterwork? Just one golf ball to masterwork something?
Yeah, you just need one.
Yeah.
Okay, so one piece of gear to masterwork will cost you 4,000 golf ball. 4,000.
If you do it this way, which is a shit option, just go and do the Grandmasters. Go right now and do Grandmasters. Farm the fucking things. If I can do it, you can do it. I've been doing it.
How many golf balls do you have, Log?
Probably 30 odd at a guess.
Well, yeah, but this is my thing. I'm at 1050, mate, and I've got to do pinnacles.
Oh, dude, you want some fucking advice? Play the fucking game. Don't complain.
To be fair, I'm in the same boat as Mylan, but I'm not complaining about it. I don't play the PvE content, so I don't have any golf balls, but I know it's because I haven't done the PvE content.
I mean, at the end of the day, unless you've got a set of armor that you really want to fucking keep, you know, like the benefit is there, but it's not super pronounced. Like you need to be masterworking an entire set for it to really, you know, be enough to change your stats in a way that you want it to. But also, given how much of the armor that you probably have now, Matt, is already redundant or going to be redundant in the short term, I think it's probably best that if you're going to get into that sort of stuff, you do it next season, because then any armor that you do get will be around for at least a year because of sunsetting. So do it that way. That's the way I'd roll it. Yeah, so what was the other thing? He's selling enhancement cores too for a fixed price of 30 per day. 30 legendary shards, which I guess is okay. I don't know. This whole thing, it just smells like a racket. The guy looks like fucking Jabba the Hutt anyway. I don't want nothing to do with him. Nothing to do with him. Changes to Eververse. You know, everyone loves a good old change to Eververse and never gets fucking divisive or people angry or anything. Starting with Season of the Hunt, Bright Engrams will now contain all Eververse content from Season 1 to 3 seasons prior to the current season. Wrap your fucking head around that. Basically what it means in Season 12, Bright Engrams will contain everything from Season 1 to 9 because 9 is 12 minus 3. And in Season 13, quick maths, everything up to Season 10. So there you go. Got a free maths lesson out of the podcast today, kids. Get smirt.
I'm still confused. Can you say it again?
You really?
No, I don't get why they wrote it like that.
Bad news, Matty. You're not getting that doctorate. You hate to see it, but so everything from Eververse that you do not currently have is available in Bright Engrams after it's been out of Eververse for 3 seasons. Which is 9 months when you think about it. So in Season 13, you'll be able to get everything before Season 10. From Season 10 and back to the dawn of Destiny 2.
Right. So you got to wait 3 months for it to be added to the Eververse loophole.
Yeah, it's like you go and see a movie. I mean, this is a bad analogy. If you were born after the year 2000, you go and see a movie. Wait 3 months and you can buy it on DVD. So it's just 9 months in this instance. 3 seasons. There you go. I think it's good. You get it for, you know, engrams and stuff. I feel like there's a lot of old shit that they're probably never going to rotate through the Eververse store again, that a lot of people, you know, there'll be people that'll complete collections off the back of this, hopefully. Depending on how, you know, completionist loot fucking thing it is. You know, what's that smart loot? Let's hope there's a bit of that goes on. Yeah, so...
Wait, who's stabbing Alpha?
No one. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, what we might do, I feel like we've talked a hell of a lot already. We'll open up the chat. If you've got anything that you think we've missed or is pertinent that you want us to talk about before the podcast ends, please fire away now. It can be about anything, the trailer, the ViDoc, the TWAB. I don't know, probably not your personal life because, I mean, we're either going to be really harsh or we're not going to have much of a take on it to begin with. What darkness powers do you think we'll get in the next X-Packs?
Dirt.
Dirt. Dirt. Adrian said it. And
Dirt
I've added
power.
Dirt and farts. Just going through the air.
We've said it.
The crop dust melee.
It's got to be it's got to be necromancy. I can imagine reviving things or bringing things up from the dead, or fucking having shadow thrall, or
doesn't work in PvP though.
What about?
You gotta remember, everything's gonna have what? It's gonna raise someone's dead guardian corpse against their will.
No. When you press it, you get shadow thrall or something like that. It's always the same thing that comes up.
Okay, I thought it was like you revive what was in your area. You know, like fucking bring this ogre back to life.
Plague doctor sort of thing, like, you know, giving people dots and shit like that. That'd be sick. Like thorn based actual subclasses.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean. I don't know. I mean, it depends on how like hard they go at tying it to like the fundament of the universe, right? Because that's sort of like the spark and the void and fucking solar. You know, they're gonna go. They'll try as hard as they can to go to the opposite of those things. So, not a direct opposite, mind you, but like a sort of the universal theoretic opposite. So stasis is entropy, is ultimate, you know, heat death and freezing. So. What else is there that's a destructive force in?
Well, that's all of them. That's like the 4 fundamental forces done once you've got stasis.
Maybe, you know what? I thought about maybe we're going to get the power to like a Taken subclass, right?
Did you guys hear that? That was crazy.
Was that thunder?
What is that?
Yeah, I got a massive storm coming.
If you need to go, like, don't blow your computer up for this shit podcast, please.
Oh, look. I'll let you know, but yeah, should be.
The next thing.
Well, do you think
just disappear? Like, you'll know why.
Yeah. Okay.
Someone said before. Do you think there's always going to be like some opposites? So, like, I guess you could put stasis with solar. Like, do you think the darkness is always going to thematically, even though it doesn't really make that much sense to be honest? But do you think thematically they'll just make opposites of?
Yeah, I think. I think they will. I think there'll be one that'll be like fucking like a poison or decay one. Like being serious, not saying dirt or farts. I think there'll be one that's like something about like draining, or like to drain energy from something is like kind of like corruption, and it could probably all be tied into one. Honestly, I mean, you've got 3 subclasses worth of supers to figure out. So I'm sure that if you could go like. A poisonous fucking Titan, soul leeching warlock, you know, I don't know. Hunters don't really matter. I'm just thinking of this shit on my feet. I think that's probably one. I don't know. I mean, what is the power of the Taken? Is that a darkness power, and is that something that we could ultimately see wielded by? Well, then I reckon it's a no-brainer that we'll end up with like Taken subclasses. A Taken subclass.
You reckon?
Why not? It's fucking sitting there.
Because people will fucking rage and they'll be like, reuse assets, bullshit.
Yeah, all right, okay. Like, look, I haven't seen a Taken Guardian since fucking the bloody
Prison of Elders.
Yeah, exactly. So who cares? I think it'd be great. I think it'd be a great way to bring sort of like the whole thing. You know, now we're wielding literally the power that Oryx had. That's pretty wicked.
That would be cool.
Holy shit, that was one long question. Thank you, Anna. That was a good one. Right, what else is here? I saw one from Nickamick. How accurate was Ash's attempt at Mylan's Sangria Eyes in the DCP? It was very accurate. I was actually immediately intimidated by that picture. I had flashbacks to drinking at 10 a.m. and it was worrying. And then sleeping through the fucking Borderlands cosplay contest. Oh, look, it's another fucking psycho. No one saw that coming. Cool. Anyway, I'll stop being a cunt now. What else is there? Why is Zavala and Osiris in the same room with Cabals? We spoke about that briefly before. None of us know. Really?
Well, Osiris can time travel, right? Maybe he found Cabal that are like from the future or some shit.
Or
and they want to help us.
Before they were angry.
Yeah, or the future. After they're not angry anymore. They've calmed down a little bit.
After they've had a good think about it and a calm down.
Here's my concern.
Yes.
It's like everything's jammed into this one release.
I don't think it is. I think it just looks that way because we're looking at like a precursor to the entire next year. I think like when you go, holy shit, this is like Uldren and Zivu-Arath and fucking Osiris dealing with the fucking hive now and all that. I think that's like the story that's going to carry us through the next year and set up the Witch Queen or whatever it's called. I think the story now and the story of Beyond Light will be the one that immediately concerns the Exo Stranger, the Drifter, Eris, Zavala chucking the shits, and that's about it, right? And like all of that sort of stuff. So I think I think just because we're looking at this real truncated thing, it looks like they've gone, here's the fucking box of characters in Destiny.
Oh, you want Savathun's sister, Uldren, Exo Stranger, Deepstone Crypt, Wield in the Darkness, boom, 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 boom. Like, just put everything in there. It's look, everyone's testing. Oh, it's progression. Yeah, but we've been this point before where they just dump everything in there, and then nothing's actually answered. Yeah, like I will agree with you once they tie up an actual storyline.
And that's something I think that they need to do. They need to tie up a storyline. Like Rise of Iron tied up the end of Destiny 1 quite well, I think. I think that needs to happen again.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, we've been saying this for years, like, and I think they know that too, because they're clearly trying to consolidate. They're killing off quite a few characters and stuff. That was one of the questions. Who do we think will be the main character that gets killed off? I'm going to tip none of them. I feel like they're going to kill off a whole heap of sort of non-important side characters. Vendors, planetary vendors and all that sort of stuff.
Probably. Sloan's dead.
Yeah, Sloan, Vance, and Ashimir, I reckon, are going to get the chop.
Ashimir just dove into a giant lake of fucking semen, didn't he? That was...
He's Vex, man.
I mean, if you're going to go...
That's the way. Like, that's how anyone would want to go.
Radiolaria. Sure, whatever.
Vex.
Keep using your technical words for Vex, jizz.
Oh yeah, Vance got killed by Paul McCartney.
No hope for the future. Why is Zavala even kicking it with Osiris? Don't they fucking hate each other? Because he sees Osiris as like an abandoner of the tower and whatever, because he fucked off.
Osiris was the rebel of the Vanguard. He didn't want to follow their rules. So, I don't think he hated him. I just don't think he got along with him.
Look at Matt's exhausted face. Look, right.
I've blown my my podcast already. You know?
Well, you know, like,
I'm a podcast this week.
I'm going to have a word to the people on the DCP. You can't go and play with them again if you're going to just...
They can't return you to us like this.
Look, in this condition. They need to make sure that you are well rested.
And actually, you know what? We had 2 podcasts. We had the fucking Patreon one with you already.
Yeah, true.
And we had this, and this is what you get.
Just turning up shit. Oh, you take pity on me. The day at the time I did DCP, I did the DCP and then straight into this. I was on it for fucking 4 hours straight of podcasting. You've had a fucking sleep, don't you?
You've been home all day. You masturbated 3 times. Then your wife comes home and it's like, hey, gives you the sexy eyes. You're like, fuck me.
Anyway, that's where the law will find you. This week. Matt's been doing a pretty bad job on the law finding people of late. Let's see what he's got this week.
I can't do it. Alpha do it today. Alpha.
What am I doing?
Alpha. I'm going to give you the end.
The end?
The law will find you. You know that little stupid thing I do at the end?
Oh, fuck, I don't know. How do I do this?
Okay, all you do is you just make up like
you make up an overly elaborate scheme, and at the end of it you say, and that's where the law will find you. That's basically what it's about.
Yeah, like you find a book somewhere. You know,
I find a book.
Like
I feel like you've just done a horrible thing.
So hard to explain.
It is. All right. So look, I'll do it. Okay.
You do it. Okay.
So it's been a big week. There's been a lot of Destiny stuff doing the rounds. Okay. We've seen a lot of confusing things. We've seen Uldren come back. We've seen fucking Zavala talking to the Cabal with Osiris. We've seen Osiris get rickrolled by a fucking knight. Just a knight, just a normal hive knight.
Standard
because
knight.
he was a moron and for some reason was using a scout rifle in close quarters. So I think it's a disappointing time. I think we can all be a little bit sad. And in the deep, deep wells of your despair as you lose faith in all of the Vanguard teachers and stuff and the right of the universe, that in the depths of your despair, that is where the law will find you. That was horrible. It's much harder than it looks, Matt.
I told you. I feel like I need to go back to when I feel like I've changed the formula somehow, and I can't fucking remember what I used to do.
Yeah, you're gonna sentence yourself to watching old DDU episodes.
Oh
God, don't do that.
He's gonna do research on himself.
Oh yeah.
Look, you kind of put it on.
You know, it started out really nerdy, where you'd say like actually a law thing, and then it sort of just devolved into, I don't know, the rest of the podcast is just us talking shit.
Yeah, right. Whatever.
All right. Well, on that note, we're going to fuck off. We're going to find someone to host. We're going to, spread the love around. And we'll see you when it's literally 3 or 4 sleeps to fucking Beyond Light, depending on where you are in the world. It's exciting times. I'm not sure that we're going to get a whole heap of news, but I've got a few guests, irons in the fire that are kind of exciting. So rock and roll. We'll see you soon.
Nice.
And hang around for a raid. Alpha, it's been a pleasure, dude. We've got to do this more often.
Thanks for having me, guys. Anytime. Seriously.
Never again.
Hey, guess what? Guess what? No one got any law today, so eat a dick. See ya.
Oh!